Hello everyone, Janine here from Wild Country Acres. Welcome to the channel. Well, today we are going to be pressure canning bone broth together. Bone broth is one of the very first things that I ever pressure canned, and I'm really excited to share it with you. First off here, you can see that I have cooked a turkey carcass this time around. You can use chicken or turkey. We can do beef a different time. And we use some aromatic vegetables and some herbs. I choose to omit the salt because I can always add it in later. Now we have some clean mason jars, a strainer with a bowl, and some of the really instrumental tools that we're going to need: vinegar, some olive oil, a few rags, and a bowl to put the vinegar in. Next, we're going to prepare the canner. This canner has roughly a few inches of water, and we're going to warm it up to be around the same temperature of the broth. Here's our clean jars that we prepared, and they are also warm jars. Here we're going to be straining the hot broth into a bowl that I know is not going to melt. All that goodness. Don't forget to keep the treats for the chickens. They'll love it. Now, if you want to, you can always strain it into a finer mesh strainer to get some of the smaller particles out. You don't have to, but you definitely can. All right, returning all of the bone broth back to the very, very, very handy electric roaster. And you can see how beautiful and golden that broth is. I use a roaster so much for canning. You guys are going to see this very often. All right, something very, very important is to make sure your kitchen is clean. All your tools are clean, your surfaces are clean, everything is super clean. Just taking one extra step with this handy little tool I found at the dollar store to strain off anything extra. Now I'm going to be filling up my clean, warm jars with the hot broth. You can use either a plastic funnel like that, or you can use a metal one. I have a metal one since I use it for milking too. Now I'm going to be wiping off the rims with vinegar on a rag. It's very important that there's no particles there, there's no grease there, so you can get a good seal. Make sure that everything is clean and sterile. All right, we're going to place the canning lids gently on top of the jars. And next we are going to be putting the rings on the jars. Now the rings, as you can see, I'm not cranking them down. They are only finger tight. The reason why you don't want to crank them down is because you need some air to escape during the canning process. And if you crank them down, no air will escape and your lids will fail and your food could possibly be unsafe. Beautiful, beautiful bone broth. Now we're just going to load our filled jars into our canner. This pressure canner happens to be an All-American 930, which I highly suggest. At 2/3 recommended capacity, it will hold roughly 12 pints. You can see I can double stack them. So I'm going to have 12 pints at the bottom and 12 pints on top. I have a lot left over, so I'm going to be able to do 2 pressure canners full. I have to do it twice in a row. I'm going to put the lid on and keep it nice and warm. Here's a few processing steps to help you with your canning adventures. Now you can see this is venting. It's going to vent for 20 minutes. Very important. I'm sorry, 10 minutes, not 20 minutes. 10 minutes. Very handy tool to have a timer on your watch, by the way. You will get up to roughly 11 pounds of pressure. This is going to be pressurized. You're going to put the weight on, and you are going to let this pressure can for 20 minutes for pints, 25 minutes for quarts. After those 25 minutes, you are going to let the pressure come down naturally to 0. Very important. And then wait an additional 10 minutes, and then you can take off the top. You will open it up. Be really, really, really careful. It is very hot. So hot that you will see when I lift these jars out that the bone broth is still boiling inside the mason jar. Very, very important, so hot. There we go. Bubbling, hot, golden broth. Success. All right, now all I have to do is take everything out, put them on a temperature-safe surface. I usually have a few old towels laying around, and I'm gonna start the process over again with the broth that is still in my electric roaster. Now you're gonna see these electric roasters quite often in my kitchen, not just for roasting meat and vegetables, but also for canning. So once all of these are done, I was able to can 24 pints of broth. Only one of my seals failed. Pretty normal to have one, sometimes none, but one. And I was able to let them cool for 24 hours, take the rings off, wash the jars off, label them, and put them on the shelf for later. If you're looking for the recipe that we used today, that we canned, it's on the website right here. Thank you so much for joining. We hope you enjoyed today's video.